girl, what's up? Okay, so I have a question for you. Do you ever feel like you have to justify yourself to somebody or explain what you're doing, why you're doing it, why you're following the Lord, and then they still have no idea? They still just try to talk you out of what the Lord is doing, and they just want an explanation. Yep, I've been there and done that, and I am here to tell you that you do not have to justify yourself to anybody. You don't have to explain yourself to anybody because you answer to God. Okay, with this video I want to give you just a little bit of insight and some tips and ideas, even questions to ask you and to self-reflect on how you can grow closer to God and not feel like you have to answer to people. With that being said, let's get into this video. Hey y'all, what's up? It's your girl Sid, and welcome back to a new video. I'm so glad that you are here. I am outside in this video. I'm so excited to be soaking up some sun during a time like this with everyone being in the house. So it's really nice to get outside. And I actually like this corner. What do y'all think? Like, this is great. Like, I'm somebody who likes to take pictures and knows perfect spots to take pictures. Like, I like being in front of the camera and behind it, and I know all the perfect spots. This, I'm trying to tell you, this is something, okay? This is something. But I'm literally just like sitting on the front porch. So yeah, I didn't grow up on the front porch. I mean, sometimes we sat in the front, but we would usually be in the back. But anyway, that's a sidebar. Like, I'm sitting in the front and just chilling. Like, I don't know, I'm trying to catch up with y'all real quick. I don't know. But like, I went on a little walk, like just around in one of the other videos that I did. So go check that out. And I have my fly swatter because there are bees out and I'm just swinging at them like, don't come over here near me. But anyway, I just wanted to come to y'all with this video because this is a common thing. Sometimes we feel like oftentimes people can try to be nosy. People can try to be like all up in your business and feel like you have to explain to them what God is doing, why you're following the Lord, and you feel like you have to justify yourself. I have been there. I've been around people that are nosy, okay, that are all up in the business. Let me back this up a little bit, sorry. But are nosy, all up in the business, and haven't gone before the Lord to give advice. So they literally try to talk me out of what God has spoken to me. There had just been multiple things that happened where I feel like because somebody didn't agree with what God was doing or what they were seeing, they felt like, I felt like I had to, explain or justify myself. And I want to share with you that we are not called to justify ourselves to people. We are not called to feel like we have to prove anything to people because we're not living for them. We are living for Jesus. And so I want to ask you, who are you living for? Why, do we feel that it's necessary to tell people everything or tell people, justify and prove to them what God has already justified and said yes to and given his stamp of approval on? And so God wants you to know that it's already done. He's already said yes. He's already approved what you are trying to do. And as long as you are seeking his face, then he will deal with the people that's around you and who you feel like is questioning you. Those people who you feel are questioning you, he will deal with them. And I had to learn that, like, I'm not living for you. And this, I think, comes with boldness. It comes with boldness and standing for the Lord. I think that's a big thing, boldness and standing for the Lord, because when you do have boldness, by the Lord's strength, you stand up to people for Jesus. You don't take their mess. You don't accept what they try to do and how they try to treat you, or them being in your business or asking you so many questions. You don't take it from them. You know, you really put your foot down and say, you know, I'm living for Jesus. You know, or you share, you really get you have a greater understanding of how to share a little bit of details, but not letting them in on every single thing. And I think that's important to know, like, do not share every single thing, okay, with people around you. Even if they're asking you, give them a little bit. Some people are going to be people who see everything the Lord is doing. I mean, they will be the people on the inside of what's going on. They will be on the inside of what's happening in your spirit, or what's happening in your relationship, or in your marriage, or which that's a covenant between you, your husband, and Jesus. And you can have somebody outside your family to maybe mentor and stuff, but you know, I don't think people should be all up in your business and in your relationship, or anytime something happens that they should know about it. So really being selective with what you are telling people, that will keep things private. That will also help put the enemy in his place, because you are not opening up your life as an open book to everyone. And when you do open your life, or wear your heart on your sleeve, as the saying goes, then you are allowing your life to be open to spirits. And then those spirits try to come in and destroy and remove and distract and go against what God has spoken over you. This message is deep, y'all. This message is deep. So I'm just trying to let you know, give you awareness and clarity. Like, be very selective. I'm gonna whisper selective. Like, don't tell everybody your stuff. And this will help put a limit on you having to explain yourself and justify yourself to everyone. If you allow everybody in, okay, any old body in, you know, you got to tell every single detail, every single thing that's happening, the why behind it, then let me tell you, it's not going to be pretty. Because not everybody's going to agree with what God is doing. I have been there. I have been the one that love to follow the Lord, love to be obedient, and love to move when God says move, and just experience new heights and depths with Jesus in this life, and not living an ordinary life. I'm trying to let y'all see how I am. Like, I don't live inside the box. I live outside the box. A very a different life. It's not ordinary. And with the Lord, nothing is ordinary. It's out of the ordinary. So when I went to go follow the Lord with moving to a different church, the Lord calling me and stretching me and doing all these things, when it was time for me to be obedient and tell people about that, or my decisions, like whatever, they wanted proof. It was like, how I got multiple things. And the thing is, it was from church people, church going, supposedly sanctified saints, people who are supposed to love the Lord and be like, yes, like they're shouting and they're supposed to clap you, to the Lord, like clap your, applaud you towards Jesus. And that did not happen. And some people, very few people, because they are close to me, that's what I'm trying to say, they are close to me, they know the intimacy and they know behind the scenes of my heart, and just like the way God has been moving in my life. So it wasn't any surprise to them. They were there to support me and really help me understand other people's behavior around me. But people that you think are close to you, or that raised you, or that's been around you, your family, okay, they will not necessarily agree with what God is doing. So it's important to understand, okay, I can't let everybody in on what's going on. I have to be wise about God and delay certain things. They don't find out, like certain things, it can be delayed. They don't find out until until they're supposed to find out, because they will literally try to stop what God is doing. And usually it's like their life isn't being experienced in an abundant way, because when you live an abundant way, like me, like I'm spiritually free, I just live like I'm seeing Christ in a wild way, in a radical way, and having radical faith. Then when I hear miraculous things, or people come to me for advice, or I'm talking one-on-one, all these things, I'm able to say, as long as you follow Jesus. Sometimes like Christians and people who you're talking to want to get in the way. They want to say what they think, their opinion, how they feel, instead of just saying, as long as you're obeying God, that's all that matters. So I'm just letting you know, be careful out here. You do not, for the people in the back, hey girl, come up here. You do not have to justify yourself and explain yourself to people. So today I want you to stop and figure out, ask yourself, okay, how can since I do not have to do that, because the Lord calls me justified, because the Lord has already approved everything, because the Lord said yes, because he already, whatever he says goes, how can I, sorry, I'm ducking because there's like a bee, but because it's all under the authority of Jesus, okay? So my question is, how can you now focus on Jesus? How can you now stand up for him and say, put your foot down and say, I'm not going to let this happen, and people take over my life? Because what will happen is, people will literally, if you let them, people will control your life. So I'm asking you today, how can you, in what areas of your life, or how can you stop explaining yourself, and how can you follow Jesus and not let people control you based on what their opinions are, or what their mindset is, and how they think God should have done something? Okay. What else did I want to say? That yeah, you ultimately answer to Jesus. You ultimately answer to God. You are the one that have to stand before him at the end of the day. You're not standing before him with everybody else near you, next to you, trying to give an account with you for how you lived your life. So you either have to be obedient to the Lord and trust him and let him take care of you and listen to him, or you're going to let people run your life and control whether you listen to God or not. After you've heard the Lord, move. Don't really try to consult people, and because human flesh will want to tell you what to do and what they think is best, based off of their own experience, based off of just what they think. And so I'm telling you that God is with you, and it's ultimately his decision. So how are you going to follow God today? How are you going to listen to him today? How are you going to not feel like you have to justify yourself? This is especially, I want you to ask yourself, are you a people pleaser? Do you like to personally please people? If you are a people pleaser, then this can be something that's really common for you, to want to feel like you are trying to please everybody, and listen and honor your parents, and do all these things for people, justify yourself to people, and why you're doing something just to get their approval, and just to feel like you want to include them in your life, or they've been a role model, so their advice is the final say, and you just have to listen to them. Sometimes you have to just go your own way, and at the end of the day, God comes first, and he will take care of their hearts and the way that they're acting, and will prepare their hearts for what he has called you to do in this life. So today I'm challenging you and asking you, how can you step out into boldness? How can you follow the Lord? How can you stop trying to please people, but please the Lord ultimately? Because you cannot do both. You cannot try to please people and please God and it all work together. Like, it's not gonna happen. So you have to make a decision. What is your decision today? And how are you gonna go forth with not justifying people and trying to please people, but living for the Lord ultimately, and yeah, just living abundantly, because your reward is in heaven. Your reward is with the Lord Jesus, the Lord, our Lord God. Your reward is not in people. Your reward is not gonna be from them. So you can take advice or hear people or whatever, but at the end of the day, you still have to follow God and not feel like you have to justify yourself, because at the end of the day, God is your defender. Okay, God is your defender. So don't feel like you have to defend yourself and do all these things and prove yourself to people when you are already accepted in the eyes of the Lord, and He has already approving you, He's already justified you, and He's defending you. So because He's defending you, you don't have to try to defend yourself and, just be on the Lord's back, tag teaming, saying, God, like, okay, you in this, I'm in this, like, just try and tag team the Lord. Let Him control it. Let Him be your defender. And you just hang out in the background and be obedient to what He called you to do. So that's just some like uplifting stuff about being trying to be justified and explaining yourself. Like, if you're tired, ask yourself, am I tired? Am I tired of trying to explain myself, losing my voice out here, trying to tell people why I made this choice, whatever. Like, if I'm following the Lord and everything, which it should be. Like, if you're trying to, it should be where you're. It may be where you're like trying to justify yourself for following the Lord's ways, and for listening to Him. Because, we shouldn't be like, when it is where it's going against the Lord and it's sin and everything, people in your life will, feed into you. The Lord will let you know and convict you and say, what you did was wrong. And so usually sometimes you try to justify sin and cover it up because of guilt and shame and stuff. But I'm talking as far as following the Lord, trying to do what's right, making decisions and what you thought was best, and you feeling like this is what the Lord said, or just trying to live your life right, or making certain decisions, and then things are going against you and turning around, like not being how you thought, and all this stuff coming from people, and you haven't said it's been so many people nosy and just asking me all these type of questions all up in my personal business and life. And that's what I'm saying, be very selective, and just make sure that God is the focus, and you give those people to Him, because He will deal with them and ultimately remove them if they don't need to be all up in your face. They need to be in the Lord's face. So I'm just here to encourage you. I'm here to just give you some faith content and to really push you towards the Lord and let you know you're on the right track. Okay, just make sure that you remember God is your defender. That's important. God is your defender. So how can you rest? How can you let go this week or today and keep your mind on Him and let God fight your battles? So that's all I have for you in this video. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you are new here, click that subscribe button down below, the thumbs up, share this video with somebody that you know needs to hear it. Down below in the description is all the ways that you can give to this ministry and support this ministry. Go over to Instagram. Make sure that you follow us at The Essence of Millennial Women. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.